Today, I'm recreating one of the coolest buzz button cocktails I've ever had from the hidden bar inside Meow Wolf Omega Mart in Las Vegas. If you've never been to Meow Wolf's Omega Mart, it's a really unique immersive art installation. On the surface, it looks like a regular grocery store, but it's actually a mind-bending world packed with secret passages, strange products, and a hidden backstory. And of course, the hidden bar, Datamosh, where they serve cocktails as strange and creative as the place itself. I went last April, and the drink that totally blew me away was called Happle Juice. I've been wanting to recreate it ever since, but I held off until my buzz buttons grew. Let's go outside and grab a couple. Thanks, Past Spawny. What is a buzz button? It's a little electric daisy that makes your tongue tingle. If you're into buzz button cocktails, I've got a couple of others on the channel, so check those out too. This seemed like the perfect drink to show how I recreate a cocktail when all I have is a list of ingredients from a menu. Here's the menu from the bar, both the screen on the wall and the printed version, which were a little different. This was kind of a challenging one because you hear me talk about cocktail templates a lot, like a sour, a daisy, in equal parts. But this one, it had so much stuff in it, it was really kind of hard to figure out which of those templates to start with trying to recreate it. So I did one a few months ago, and it came out a little bit too watery and thin. So the one I'm making today, it's a slightly modified version, but I still feel like I'm working with this one. I'm gonna make one first as close to theirs as I can, and then I'm gonna make a second one with pear vodka since I think pear goes well with apple. And then if we figure out any changes through this first one, maybe we can incorporate them into the second. Let's get started. I'm gonna use 1.5 ounces of vodka. Then the second ingredient was one I definitely had to track down for this. It's Chareau apple liqueur. And this definitely stood out in the drink I had at the Omega Mart. I feel like it's the thing that made it really interesting. I'm gonna do 1/2 ounce of it. I had trouble figuring out the next ingredient. They wanted 1/2 ounce of apple liqueur. And I didn't know if they meant like maybe something nicer like an apple brandy, but I thought the sour apple pucker would kind of be an interesting thing to try. So I'll do 1/2 ounce of it. And the color just seems like Happle-ish, I guess. And then I have the next two ingredients are rice milk and apple juice. So I'm using the Dream rice milk and just some plain old apple juice from the grocery store. And I've already measured out 1 ounce of each of them. And then I'm going to do 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. They listed that, and I also think this will help it like be a little less watery. It'll give it a little thickness. And they just said citrus on the menu, so I'll do 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. And 2 to 3 dashes of apple bitters. I saw their bitters, they were the Hella brand. I think they quit making those, so I got the Dash Fire spiced apple bitters. 1, 2, one more. So let's shake it up. So I also got the same kind of cup they served it in. These are called Silly Pint cups, so they're silicone, but they look like glass, so you can drop them, bounce them around. They're pretty cool, and it kind of adds to the kind of quirky, weird feel of this drink. So the first thing I'm noticing, this definitely looks a lot less milky than theirs, but you know, it might still be good. Maybe put a little more rice milk in the second one. And here's the buzz button. They garnished it just like this with a cherry. And they had a real apple slice. Well, this is also a real apple slice, but it's a dried one instead of a fresh one. So there's our first iteration, or technically second iteration, of the Copycat Happle Juice. Let's try it out. It tastes good. I think that I could stand to put some more of the rice milk in, because that almost, if you've never had this kind of milk before, it's almost like a liquid form of a Rice Krispie treat. It's really sweet, and I think that maybe it wouldn't thin out the drink too much to add more of that, especially with the simple syrup in it. And I don't think the sour apple pucker was a bad choice either. I think it gives it a nice little tart kick in addition to the lemon juice. For the second one, I will probably omit the sour apple pucker and use the pear vodka, a little bit more of it. So let's try that one and see how it comes out. And I'll put it in the decorated version of the silly pint. Alright, so in the first one, I did 1.5 ounces of vodka, but in this one I'm going to do 2 ounces of vodka and kick out the sour apple pucker, even though I did like it. So this is a vodka I just got the other day when I was doing a tasting. One of the other people working was selling this one, and I tasted it and I really liked it. And I was thinking about this video and thought it would be perfect for it. And I also like that this is 80 proof, because most of the flavored vodkas are lower proof than like a regular vodka. So it was cool that this one was more like what we're used to. And I could still pick up the Chareau, so I think the 1/2 ounce of that was a good amount. So that's what I'm going to stick with in this one. Last time I did a full ounce of apple juice, but this time I think I'm gonna dial it down to 1/2 ounce and then do 1.5 ounces of rice milk. So we'll still have the same amount of like the juice and milk, but more in favor of the rice milk. So there's 1/2 ounce of apple juice and 1.5 ounces of the rice milk. 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. The first one wasn't overly sweet even with that, and 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. And I'll also be generous again with the apple bitters, especially since I went easier on the apple juice. Alright, there's our second version of the Happle Juice. Yeah, I think that one's a little closer to the one I had. They're both good. I think the pear is a really good substitute for apple. Even if you had like an apple flavored vodka, I think it would work. And then I also forgot to try it with the most important part, the buzz button. I'll bite into this one that I didn't use for the garnish. Not the most awesome tasting thing to bite into, but I already feel it like burning is probably the wrong word, but kind of tingling my tongue. It really enhances citrus flavors. I can tell it's going to taste different. Whoa. Yeah, it's still good. You get the strong citrus flavor, and then I feel like this almost like smooths it out. Like this stands out even more. It's a really cool drink. I was super impressed with it. I'm glad I could come sort of close to recreating it at home. Next time I'm there, I might just come out and ask them, hey, how exactly do you make these? I'm really looking forward to returning to the Omega Mart bar because it was one of the most fun drinking experiences I've had lately. Let me know if you've tried a Buzz Button cocktail or if you've been to Meow Wolf Omega Mart. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers!